हेलो, आदाब, नमस्ते, वेलकम टू इंडियाज़ बिजनेस लेजेंड्स। आपको हमने बहुत अलग अलग प्रकार के एंटरप्रेन्योर से मिलवाया है, लेकिन आज हम आपको एक ऐसी शख्सियत से मिलवाएंगे जिन्होंने अलग अलग सेक्टर्स में काम करा है, चाहे वो एफएमसीजी हो, चाहे वो बायोटेक हो, चाहे वो फार्मा इंडस्ट्री हो। तो आइए वेलकम करते हैं मिस्टर वेंकट नेलाभोटला जी को, जो कि लीडरशिप रोल्स में रहे हैं एज सीईओ, एज लीडिंग द बिजनेसेस, बट नॉट एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर in brands like Shantha Biotech, Aurobindo Pharma, Emami, and now Vyome, and also CavinKare. अब इन्होंने 2011 में जब अपना entrepreneurial journey स्टार्ट किया एंड Vyome को स्टार्ट किया, तो उससे ही स्टार्ट करते हैं कि क्या मोटिवेशन था उसको स्टार्ट करने का।
So I was working before being part of Vyome as a co-founder. I was working for around 21 years after my MBA. I did my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. So I have seen, under my leadership and working with the owners, the companies grow in terms of their value very, very, very significantly. Whether it is Emami or Aurobindo Pharma, Shantha Biotechnics. And I have realized by actually being part of a company, like a co-founder, owning shares will create a much significant value, and you can pursue your own passion.
Right.
So that kind of triggered, and then I was also, kind of feeling financially secure after having 21 odd years of experience post my MBA. Then thought there's not much of a risk to actually jump into by being an entrepreneur in terms of what I can do to my family. But yes, the journey itself has its own risks and a roller coaster ride. And
तो did the opportunity come to you, या आपने कुछ देखा कि हाँ ये opportunity, let me seize the opportunity? दोनों तरीके से होता है ना?
Right, yeah. So given my combined experience of pharma, biotech, and consumer products, I was looking for opportunities.
Okay.
I was discussing with a lot of friends of mine and starting startups in consumer space, skincare space, and also in pharma. Then I bumped into professor of Harvard in pharmacology. His name is Dr. Shiladitya Senmukta. So we had extensive discussions, and that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey.
Which is fantastic. Okay, किसी भी बिजनेस को स्टार्ट करने से पहले सबसे क्रूशियल एस्पेक्ट होता है उसकी फंडिंग, एंड अ लॉट ऑफ एंटरप्रेन्योर्स वो अपनी सेविंग्स में डिग इन करते हैं and then they start a business. So how did you start? Was there any difference?
Yeah, no, it was something very similar. But we had an angel seed investor called Navam Capital from Kolkata. And we had people like Dr. Mashelkar, who was ex-Director General of CSIR, and then was also ex-scientific advisor of Prime Minister's office. So we came, all of us came together. The angel seed funding substantially has come from Navam Capital. And we all have contributed together to, there is a basic, what we call incorporation funding. And we started the journey from there. We actually started with some low-hanging fruit products in dermatology, East Capital from Manipal Group, and Ari Capital in Series A. Then we had two products clinically tested for anti-dandruff, for scalp care products. Okay. Which we subsequently partnered with Sun Pharma in 2015-16 timeline. Then we started scaling up. We started focusing on US market. We got capital from international funds like Perceptive Advisors, a US fund. And then we shifted all our attention to creating value for biotech products, novel patented medicinal products in immunoinflammatory therapies, autoimmune diseases, inflammatory diseases. And inflammatory diseases are related to skin like acne. And we raised cumulatively close to approximately 500 crores. And I think from 2019 onwards, we shifted our headquarters to the US. And ever since, we were kind of trying to give an exit to the investors. And now we are finally successful in 2025 in listing it in Nasdaq.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great success story right from India. In an age जब हम बात करते हैं कि brain drain हो रहा है, हमारे scientists US जाते हैं because it's more comfortable for them. They get better opportunities. I think you're creating great opportunities for scientists here in India itself.
Yeah. This is one of its kind. This is also, a deep passion for me, how to create an ecosystem for doing innovative products that have significant global markets in medicines.
Right.
The problem in India at this point of time, the ecosystem does not exist. वो ecosystem exists नहीं करता है because though there is scientific talent, there is no capital available, and there are a lot of restrictions for foreign capital to come in and go out. And the talent is there in some departments of the science, but an all-rounded understanding of how to develop drugs for global markets doesn't exist in India. So that's why we don't have many biotech startups in India. There are some Indian big companies like Sun Pharma, Zydus, Dr. Reddy's. They are doing new products because they made a lot of money in generics. And they know the future is going to be with the new products. If you see globally, out of close to $1.6 trillion of medicine pharmaceutical industry, the patented products occupy close to 70% of that. Balance 30% is generic. So 70% of 1.6 is coming from what we call patented products, which India doesn't do. The problem is its risk. And all-rounded talent does not exist. Now it's slowly started. A lot of Indian diaspora are coming back. Capital does not exist. It needs phenomenal amount of capital.
True.
So we were successful in actually starting that with all the risk in India. But when the time came, we had to move to the US when we are growing to a larger scale and doing phase 3 trials that need significant money. We had to shift to the US. But I'll give you an example. Out of this $1.6 trillion, we have, in terms of volume of the prescriptions or medicines, in terms of number of units, we are 14% suppliers of that 100% market. Whereas in terms of value, we are 3%. So which means we are not selling the novel medicines at a premium pricing to global markets because we are not developing them. So we made our own attempt, and with the presence of people like Dr. Mashelkar, Shiladitya Sen, it became a very inspiring and interesting journey to create, being at least one company that can establish and prove to Indian entrepreneurs that a startup, professionals can come out of companies and do startup in the innovative space. So that is the most fulfilling part of this whole journey. Despite going through a lot of roller coaster, biotech is really roller coaster. If a product fails, you lose a lot of money.
So when you say roller coaster, what were the kind of challenges that you faced?
One of the biggest challenges is the Indian investors do not understand novel products and the risks behind it and how to even evaluate. Most of them, some of them do, but most of them don't. They understand sales, they understand EBITDAs, they understand in the consumer internet, number of units sold, quarter to quarter increase. But they do not understand a product, a product is synthesized, there's a molecule, there's a biology testing in laboratory, then there is a testing in animals. What these results mean in terms of what this product can do eventually, let's say after a few years in clinical trials. That understanding, needs a lot of expertise, and that wasn't existing. Slowly it started evolving. So that is one of the biggest challenges, selling the story, which is why we had to go outside and sell the story to get the money from outside, like US and all. The second biggest challenge is, in terms of running the company, is a 360-degree view of each product. The chemistry, the biology, the clinical research, the patents, and the commercialization potential. So that is where I brought in a lot of value in integrating all that. Though I'm not a scientist, I probably know how to ask the right questions, and the answers will have to come from the scientists. Integrating all that and trying to do in a cost-efficient and in a time-efficient development of the products. But to bring and imbibe that knowledge in the team, has taken its own time, because scientists have their own view of things with respect to their department or their function. But giving them a consolidated view and why they're doing what they're doing is an important element. So that's the second challenge. And the third thing is when we had to move to US, restructuring this whole thing, going through the various governmental compliances, RBI, income tax, and whatnot. That itself was another huge exercise by itself.
I'm sure.
And we did use some of the top-notch consultants like PwC and all. But that move has helped. We helped us to raise a lot of money there, and that subsequently get listed and all to give an exit.
How did the Nasdaq listing help the brand?
Nasdaq listing helps the company from 3-4 angles. One is access to the capital,
right?
More capital because it's a public company. Another is more visibility and therefore ability to have forge partnerships and whether for selling our products, licensing our products out, or even in licensing products.
Right.
Because when we license, they know that this company can raise capital and then spend money on it to create value, further value. And the third important benefit is the stock has become, the investors' shares have become liquid. Anytime they want to sell, they can sell. Like in private, they get locked up, right?
Correct.
So there's a liquidity that is given to the investors who've been associated with the company for the last many years.
Interesting.
So it's a kind of a three-way benefit.
And previously, you worked with consumer-based brands. So
Consumer and pharma biotech.
And pharma?
Both.
And there, once you understand the consumer behavior, the results would start showing. Whatever decision you take, it would be very immediate. But this industry is such that the clinical trials can take years, right?
Yes.
So how do you measure where you're going, and how do you see that, don't you get impatient?
Yeah, so
This also.
good question. I'll tell you, even in consumer segment, this is the internet age now. You can see results, at least who's buying, who's not buying.
Right.
Day one itself. But, in those days, launch a brand, you spend money, in advertising, and you spend money on product development, manufacturing, and distribution. It is still possible that the brand may not do well because if you got something wrong, whether it is product or advertising, or the product might do much more than what you expected if it clicks with the consumer needs. Okay. So there also there is some time, but after that, let's say it may be a year or year and a half. But after that, it's a very dynamic business, in terms of growth, subsequent growth. So therefore, it has its own, what we call adrenaline, okay, in terms of running the business. You see the results, you can take a lot of actions day in, day out, whether it's tactics or whether it is strategic, position, brand positioning and all this. The results are pretty fast. Now, in this business, what gives you what we call day-to-day kick is in terms of progress.
That's what an entrepreneur lives for, right?
Yeah. Is follows. If you know a 360-degree view of each product that you're developing or a platform of technology you're developing, a lot of people who do not understand this business do not know the milestones. There are a lot of milestones in the total journey of a complete new product development, which takes now roughly 8 to 10 years, up to phase 3 approval and then commercialization. Right. But the internal team knows, the early research, what does the lead identification, let's say a molecule that you're developing, let's say a couple of biology experiments and chemistry experiments, if they succeed, it's a big checkbox.
Right.
So, and all these things have to happen, not years and years. Each milestone that I'm talking about is 6 months to 1 year kind of thing. Then the second thing is extensive animal testing and results, both for safety, meaning toxicology, and also for efficacy. So these results come within 3 months once you start experimenting.
Okay.
So the data that comes out of these tests, if they are good, there's a huge satisfaction because that data is useful, in presenting to investors to raise further capital. Next is filing to the regulatory agencies like US FDA. In US, it's FDA. And they're blessing your program. They say you're on good, right path. Or they add, a few things extra. You should do this, you should do this. And getting that meeting and getting that blessing in a kind of 6 months to 1 year horizon, let's say from the time you start preparing for it, is another big milestone of achievement because we know we're slowly reducing the uncertainty of the risk.
Correct.
Next is, you put whatever you've done as a package, what we call investigation new drug application. Then you do a phase 1 on humans, human beings, for safety and maybe an early efficacy also in some cases. So it'll be 15, 20, 30 patients. With that data, if it's good, that there's no major safety, flag, or, what we say, early efficacy is looking good. That's a big data point. That itself jumps the value pretty significantly.
Right.
Both in terms of further investments from investors or even potentially a strategic partner trying to evaluate this product for in licensing by them and out licensing by us. Then next phase 2. Phase 2 is a large efficacy study on human beings. Efficacy and safety, but more focused on efficacy. If that data comes, then your value jumps up pretty significantly.
Right.
That comes up positively. So all this phase 1, phase 2 is typically 1 year to 1.5 year projects. But the execution of that, getting it right, the design, the protocol, and then getting the right data and publishing it, that's where you have, what we call a half yearly or, yearly targets.
Right. So there has to be a big idea, right?
To start with, there has to be a big idea. For instance, let's say we have a product for malignant fungating wounds. What is malignant fungating wounds? In advanced cancer, almost terminal stage, grade 4, in breast cancer, head and neck cancer, in India, even oral cancer, cancer spreads to the skin from the area where it started with.
Okay.
When it spreads to the skin, it forms a large lesion, a large wound kind of thing. First closed, then it bursts open. Like you see in the movie ads, the oral cancer, the big opening on the jaw and other things.
Yes.
Before that, all movies
it's very scary.
for
I
anti-smoking.
can visualize it, and
Yeah.
it's very, very scary.
That's actually anti-tobacco ad, but
Right.
they show the oral cancer.
Oh,
Okay, we have a product, a topical gel product that addresses the symptoms of those wounds. They're called cancer wounds in simple term. But the underlying cause is cancer, like a oral cancer in the case of tobacco chewers, or a breast cancer, or a head and neck cancer. Underlying cause is cancer, but it comes to skin, forms gory looking wounds. They become open, there's a lot of blood, exudate, pus, a lot of dressing. So that throws up to very significant symptoms. The number one symptom is a huge malodor. The malodor is almost smells like, if you don't address it, if you don't clean it daily, it can be as bad as a rotten, rat or a rotten fish smell.
right.
That bad. And then there is a lot of local pain. Cancer patients have some body pains if it spreads to bones and all, but this causes its own pain in the wound itself.
Okay.
So we have a topical drug that actually addresses in treating the malodor and also the local pain, the lesion pain, the wound pain. So this is a big unmet need. There is no FDA approved drug right now.
Okay.
Therefore, it falls under a rare disease category, which means it has got its own benefits and all, subject to getting an orphan drug designation approval. And such products can have premium pricing also.
Right.
Because we're talking about in US 60,000 patients on average. So why we chose this indication is because there's nobody out there. Clinical trial can be pretty smart and quick. It's a 14-day duration treatment. We've done a phase 2 investigator-initiated trial. We got very good results there.
Wow.
We published in American Association of Cancer Research conference. We published a poster. Similarly, we have a second program for an autoimmune disease in the eye called uveitis. I don't know whether you've heard of it.
No.
It's not, again, very common, but it's not very rare also. So this happens like, like you've heard of autoimmune disease, like rheumatoid arthritis,
This I'm aware of.
psoriasis,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of other autoimmune diseases.
In fact, this is also another term which has just recently come up in the past 10 years, I would say.
Rheumatoid arthritis was there, but
Autoimmune,
autoimmune
I think
is
doctors
the
are very generously using it nowadays.
Yeah.
Anything that they cannot figure out. I'm not sure how right I am, but anything
it's
that
all
cannot
figured
be
out only. They can't say anything like autoimmune. They need to do testing, and they need to see some markers, biomarkers to figure out it's really autoimmune or not, and what autoimmune it is.
Right.
There's lupus, there is rheumatoid arthritis, there is psoriasis.
Mm-hmm.
They're all autoimmune diseases.
Okay.
When your immune system gets disturbed, or when your immune system becomes aggressive. So those causes disease. Uveitis is a disease that's caused in the eye.
And what are the symptoms like?
The symptoms is inflammation, huge pain, and then if you don't attend to it, blindness.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's caused because of?
Because of autoimmunity, autoimmune regulations. Oh. Yeah, the immune cells becoming rogue.
Right. They start attacking your good cells.
They're attacking your good
in common man language.
Yeah.
That's how they.
No, it happened pretty. It happened. There are some risk factors, genetic factors, and all, but sometimes it can be, unfortunately, it can happen randomly also. Okay. Otherwise, there is a big reason why those happen. In general, there's a lot of research behind it. So we have a program that is in an ophthalmic drops form. Current treatment is local topical ophthalmic drops, steroids.
Okay.
But steroids have their own other complications.
They do.
They cause side effects. In fact, they cause cataract. If you use, in the longer run, for uveitis, if you use steroids, they cause cataract. They also increase the pressure, so they can cause glaucoma.
Right.
You know these diseases, right? Cataract and glaucoma.
I do understand.
Yeah.
Majority of the terms.
So
I'm from a science background.
Nice.
So I do understand.
So we're developing a drug in topical ophthalmic drops form that is not a steroid. So therefore, our drug can be steroid sparing or a steroid replacing drug. Any autoimmune disease needs a long-term treatment.
Right.
It doesn't just go away because it's an inherent defect. So to avoid a long-term use of steroids, that's the unmet need we are addressing by developing a drug, a non-steroidal class immunoregulatory drug or immunomodulatory drug. So that is in pre-IND stage.
And all this is coming from India?
All this is coming from basically it's coming from Vyome. So it's a combination of US and India. Yes. But the work is done here. The wet lab work, the basic work is done here. Then after some level, we outsource to some other Indian labs to do some extra work.
Interesting. Any other thing that we could probably look forward to in the future that Vyome is working on? Something? You must have seen the news. We've recently in-licensed, we've taken someone else's product, in-licensed a class of products called JAK inhibitors. JAK, JAK inhibitors. They're also for immunoinflammatory and autoimmune diseases. So they are again, they're at a preclinical, animal testing and the early research stage. So we are, the board is looking at, in the non-dilutive through using, some grant funding and etc. See how we can develop those products further to create value. But overall, as a company, we are focused on immunoinflammatory therapies and also rare diseases, so that the clinical trial burden, and there are some benefits, if you get orphan designation status in US in terms of commercial benefits, fee waivers and all. That helps us to develop a set of pipeline, but using capital very efficiently and with focus. Initially our focus at this time is VT1953, which is the product topical gel for malignant fungating wounds. Right.
But slowly, as we build capital, we'll build the pipeline also, the other pipeline that we already have in our stable.
This is great. All right, while you're handling Vyome so beautifully, how does your experience at Emami or at Aurobindo or at Shantha, how does it accumulate to help you do what you're doing here? Or is the experience very different from what you've been doing?
No, there is a crossbreed of that knowledge, and that experience helps here for sure. So let's talk two segments, consumer and pharma biotech. Consumer was Emami, CavinKare. Pharma biotech was, before Vyome, it was Shantha Biotechnics and Aurobindo. So consumer gives looking at this business in a completely different way, non-scientific way.
Right.
Always looking for commercialization opportunities, branding the company, social media work, investor communication. So that experience helps here. And also some products that we develop, is there a consumer angle or a OTC angle that we continuously look for, and so that we can develop those products and give to consumer companies.
Right.
But we don't do consumer marketing ourselves. We only do development. the products. Now, pharma biotech. Shantha Biotechnics is, I would say it's an innovative company. They've done the first biosimilar vaccine, recombinant vaccine. They also went through, multiple years of pre-revenue development journey before they actually started having revenue, more than 8-9 years. I don't know, it's 8-9 years, 7 years, but around that time. And high-end science in terms of biology and all. So all that knowledge, product development, and even marketing is feeding into my work here, particularly around science, the scientific knowledge, and also, the other aspects, at a scale, manufacturing and those kinds of things. Aurobindo was a global marketing role for both the APIs and generic formulations. So that has given me a lot of contacts. And those contacts are going to be helpful in this company for any potential business partnerships.
Right. That's how you build on entrepreneurship also. Yeah. It's not just like one day you wake up and you say, no, I want to go out and swim in the sea. You got to prepare, right?
Cumulative. See, this is a complex business. It's not, so therefore here typically senior professionals come together because the risk reward is, pretty huge. If you don't do things right, a lot of money can get lost. A lot of companies lose money regularly in this business.
They do?
Yeah, in US they do. In US and India, that's why they don't attempt also.
But then don't you think it's really worth it? Because we're doing something great for humanity also.
I know, but there is a monetary angle also, right? So I'll give you an example. This disease AIDS, right?
Yeah.
All the diseases, most of the diseases are vaccines. More than $2 trillion were spent on AIDS vaccine by various bodies.
Right.
And but we don't have vaccine.
Right.
So there is always a risk of not able to achieve in terms of curing a disease.
Right.
Alzheimer's, people have been trying, spending money. You don't have a drug that is for sure is working.
You do?
We don't have a drug.
Oh, we don't have a drug for that.
Why? Because difficult science.
Right.
People still have not figured out. They know what causes Alzheimer's and all, but how to design a drug that goes and attacks the problem and brings the person to normalcy, particularly somebody who's advanced into Alzheimer's. So it's a noble cause, but money. So if it is a private, governments do.
Shouldn't the governments be doing it? Yeah. Even if you're failing, somebody should be.
There are research institutions who do that, but biotech is almost like a deep tech.
It is.
So in India, if a lot of people have to do, it needs not just an inspiration of noble cause, but it needs a huge ecosystem by itself, which we don't have compared to USA, China. You need universities, you need people and you need a lot of capital, meaning investors. How much professionals can put? It's not that you're starting, a consumer internet, you're making some 10,000 units of creams and selling and slowly making money and slowly growing. Here there is no units, nothing to be sold. You have to hire some 10-15 scientists, create a lab. They'll keep working, then go through one milestone by other milestone. Everything is funding only. There's no sales.
Right. And even when you make something, you have to ensure that the cost of the medicine is reasonable, so low that people can afford it.
Yeah.
How does that work out? I'm very curious to know. After so much of intensive research, wherein we're putting in hundreds of crores just to ensure that the medicine that reaches your counter is actually of a level wherein, it will benefit people.
No, it depends in country to country. If you see, US people can pay a lot of money because there's huge insurance backup out there.
Okay.
It's really big money. What pharma companies, they develop a new product and they sell, they have 95% gross margin. And the pricing is nowhere compared to the pricing in India. It's multiple fold, maybe 80, 90 fold. So if you take a biological drug, let's say for a cancer, if they launch, an annual treatment cost can be in the US $300,000.
Okay.
$300,000 means how much? Roughly $1 million is 8 crores or 10 crores. So 300,000 is roughly 3 crores. Annual cost. Who will pay in India? Unless you're a Ambani or a super rich guy.
It's impossible.
Impossible. So these products do not come to India so quickly. So the idea is not what you're doing to Indian patients. Here you should look at as a business proposal. By doing innovation, what you are extracting the value by selling in global markets. Then at some point of time, if it is a needed drug, you can contribute to through a licensing or a compulsory licensing. You can give it to some low cost manufacturer to manufacture for Indian patients.
Okay.
But for the money and effort you are putting and the long haul that you have in developing a new product, the value comes from the US market.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that you cannot develop new products for India, but the economics, doesn't fit.
So like you said,
there are companies who do new products, but it is nowhere compared to the new products being developed for US by US people or outside US people.
I'm just trying to get a perspective. Like you said that low cost drugs can be created for the Indian market. Will it impact the quality of the drug?
See, quality of the drug cannot be impacted because there is certain regulation in quality. There is so much oversight by regulatory agencies. You cannot just put anything and say it's going to care. It needs to have certain quality for sure. I'm not talking about generics, I'm talking about new products. The question really is the price.
Right.
What patient can pay or what insurance companies can pay. That is where we get stuck. Yes, you can do a low cost development in India and charge. Actual cost of the material in the product may be less, but they have to recover all the 10 years of development cost, right?
Right.
That's why the cost goes up. So it is possible to do, but if you see the economics of doing it for USA, the development cost can be higher, but the returns are, if the product is successful in clinical trial, the returns can be far higher, which is why the investors will put money for those markets. If you are saying you're developing for those markets and by making submissions to those regulatory agencies.
Right. Very interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next episode where with Mr. Venkat, we'll be talking about what the industry has in store for us, how our youngsters, our aspirational entrepreneurs can look at the biotech industry and what exactly they can do if they aspire to get into this industry. So stay tuned. We'll be back next week.